And CJ Stroud looked the most human he's ever looked. Might have cost him the Heisman tonight. But this Michigan team,
that's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah, who can they not beat? Go ahead, Felder.
I was going to ask. I was going to say, does this because we talked about this a week ago. This catapults between the win tonight and CJ Stroud's loss. This catapults Caleb Williams into the front runner for the Heisman, correct?
1,000%.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
1,000%.
For sure.
Hack, CJ Stroud, Hack. What was your biggest takeaway, not just of him, but what our impression's going to be left with from the season? Because honestly, the kid still had a hell of a season.
No,
but the expectations that we had on him in this offense were they outsized or they just fall short?
No, I think they were astronomical, and I think they earned all that, right? And again, I'm not going to make excuses for anybody, but a guy who we all had pegged is probably arguably one of the best college football players in the country, all around football players, and Jackson Smith-Njigba was not on that team. Now, granted, that gave room for Marvin Harrison Jr. to arise and a few of these other players that they have to grow, right? Fair. But the same token, that definitely hurts, and that's definitely some production. I just felt that the last half of this year, this Ohio State team was not as disciplined as they have been in past years in the red zone when money was to be made, and when Ohio State really, really gashed you and hurt you. They didn't kick field goals. They scored touchdowns, and they did it at an efficient clip. They didn't do it down possession in, possession out. They did it in spurts and flurries. Even the Penn State game, they did it in spurts and flurries where it's like, oh shit, here comes another one. Oh great, awesome, boom, 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 boom. They could pile it on, but they just weren't as consistent as they have been. And I think that really played a lot into CJ. I think he executed a little bit poorly, and I think it went back to a little bit of some of the stuff that I touched on when I just watch Ohio State's offense. Is they're very, very vertical. There's not a lot of possession passing game for lock, horizontal stretch possession passing game. And when you get in the red zone, you cut that vertical aspect out. You got to have some guys who have feels for that, and you got to have some timing and some anticipation.
You got to have a Chris Olave.
Yeah, correct. I mean, a Chris Olave, a Garrett Wilson, I think.
Or you just got to have the system.
Yeah. Right, the system, and I think you just have to have people to execute it, right? And I just think that they didn't, top to bottom, coaching staff all the way to CJ Stroud and everybody else. I don't think they executed well enough in that area throughout the entire year, and I know that's probably going to be a big focus for them heading into whatever happens for the end of the season and then next year, right? I'm just such a big fan of Ryan Day. I really am. I think he's a hell of a ball coach, and I think he's going to get things fixed. And I just have such a deep, and really it goes for both these programs that we're talking about, a deep appreciation for both Michigan and Ohio State, having played at Penn State and played against both these programs. I have a deep appreciation for them and how they've done things. And I see Michigan thriving in the old school throwback mentality that I really jive with and respect. And I always watched Ohio State have it, and you're starting to see it not deteriorate, but you're starting to see
it's trickling away.
Yeah, it's almost like the entitlement that Ohio State never let seep into that building, into those players. I'm not saying that there's a ton of it there, because there's definitely not, but there's definitely more than there has been in the past.